Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to DSS Atlanta, the Digital Shelf Summit. I'm Scotty O, always off brand here. I'm sitting with unbelievable talents. I mean, celebrities is unbelievable. They need no introduction, as David Letterman says. Danny Silverman, Chris Perry, Scot Wingo, Kiri Masters, and I'm going to leave this booth. I'll be Engineer Scotty today, but we've got several podcast hosts. I mean, Kiri, you do yours. Scott, you have yours. I'm just going to turn the floor over to you guys. Kiri,
Chris has got his own jingle on your show.
He's got a jingle.
Right?
We have the Chris Perry show as part of Always Off Brand.
Danny's got an amazing newsletter.
Which we got the prediction show. We tried to just off your and Jason's prediction show. We tried to come up with something.
Good.
And I'm going to turn it over. Kiri, you wanted to start off the conversation.
I'm just really glad that you said it correctly. Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, instead of Atlanta.
There's no T in Atlanta.
I thought it was Atlantis.
Atlanta.
The lost city.
Atlanta. All right. What did you want? You had some burning thing.
All right. Okay. Look.
Go ahead,
So what I posted about today was a disagreement that kicked off in the comments of a LinkedIn post that I did about some third-party research that was done about how iROAS is calculated. This is how I spend my Tuesdays, guys. A bit of sympathy, thank you. And the measurement people in retail media are very serious people. Okay, there is a big difference between a Bayesian time series and whatever else they're arguing. And anyway, this post kicked off, math nerds just piling on, and I ended up revisiting the post again today because I went back to the research authors and I said, here was the feedback. This thing really caught a light. Congratulations, because most B2B content marketing stuff is boring and no one even talks about it, let alone argues about it. So they wrote a response. I posted it today, and then
the naysayers just left it with their tail between their legs.
Then they came back and they said, this wasn't a good response. It is boring. We wish they responded differently. And by the way, the guy that complained about the Bayesian time series not being a correct way to measure this said, actually, the guy that was arguing with me about Bayesian time series never gave me the correction that I needed. So this is my world. I'm glad to be out of it for this event and chatting with you guys today, because
I think you need Mr. Bays. Can you get Mr. Bays on your podcast?
You know, can I make him up with Sora or something?
Scott will do a Mr. Bays for you. He'll become Mr. Bays.
Thank you.
Give you a bell for that. All right, go ahead. So what's go on?
Well, I don't want to continue to drag the conversation down talking about retail media measurement. So I feel like someone else should jump in with.
My big LinkedIn debate is the definition of agentic commerce with Andrew Litzman, your favorite. So I think it's unanimous. Kiri won the debate.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Andrew's not here to defend himself, but I'll happily take that. Thank you.
I'm late, but I'm there.
Yeah, and I did a debate at Shop Talk over the same thing, and Sarah Metzger, and I, and then I always get the payments.
Marzano.
Yeah, oops, sorry, her too. And I know a Sarah Metzger, and it gets confusing. The payments guys come at me too, where their definition of agentic commerce is it has to be 100% automated, and if there's the agent doesn't do everything, it doesn't count. And it's this one which is fine for them to have that definition, but then they use it for this argument that agentic commerce doesn't exist, and therefore, and you should do nothing, which is where I start to take exception.
I thought the payments guys would be a little bit more extra about that.
No, it has to. They're the same.
And they don't see Rufus as fully agentic.
Now, is there semi-agentic, like semi-automatic? I'm just
they're like, that's not agentic commerce. That's assisted AI. They have like a different definition. So it's a definition argument.
Because you have to prompt it as opposed to just knowing magically what you want.
You can prompt it, but then you shouldn't have to do anything. You shouldn't make any decisions or anything like that.
All right, here's the question: Why does the definition matter so much?
Sarah, what's her name? Had the whole reason why definitions matter, and I didn't understand it. It was some journalism word salad that I didn't understand.
Well, generally, and this is if we even go back in history, if people can't define omni-channel, right? It's hard to organize the world around the way we should be, or if we don't really have a common language, right? So I mean, that's even just in simple 101s in training, it's just trying to give everyone the same language, the same storyline, the same imperative, the same so what, now what. So maybe less word salad, but just
There is
whether you
also
can
a
achieve
level of-
agentic is still a question, but we have to have the same definition if we're going to march towards it.
There's also a level of optimization with human in the loop versus human out of the loop. So I think that's probably part of the distinction here too.
Talk into the mic. Talk right in the mic. Talk
What-
in the mic.
So my argument is it's a journey. In like defining it strictly now is kind of crazy.
It's a continuum,
it's
right?
a continuum,
Yeah.
and we'll ultimately get to where they think we're going to get to, but it's going to take a while for people to get familiar with it. Like we all remember the early days of e-commerce. eBay didn't have payments for like the first 5 years because people didn't trust online payments.
Right.
They would literally buy something on eBay and mail a check to each other.
That's how I love this example because I bought my first thing online when I was 13. It was an MP3 player, and I saved up for months, and I bought it on eBay. And then 2 weeks later, I marched down to the post office. I handed over a pile of cash, and I paid cash on delivery for the first thing that I bought on eBay.
Wow.
But then the next time I bought something on eBay, I trusted the system, and I used a debit card or whatever.
And you get defrauded. No, just kidding.
But that's the thing. I think that this is where the continuum concept applies as well, is that once, we're scared about fraud, we're scared about identity theft and things like that. And people, I think, are rightly concerned about an agent buying something for us without our permission. Okay, fine. But once we have a positive experience and once we
And there's
have
the
that
trust.
reinforced, that trust, then, provided that first experience is good, people will come back.
Yeah, this is we've seen such a revolution with ChatGPT, people adopting that so quickly to answer all of life's questions. When that tipping point hits for shopping, for agentic shopping, I don't think we've seen that yet. Where we
Right.
haven't seen it, it hasn't solved for a problem yet. It hasn't
Yes.
made our lives better because I do it this way. When that happens, that's when we'll see the tipping point. That's what I think.
What's a little bit like, I mean, quick commerce in a lot of different ways solves a lot of problems. More when we think of like, I need my food delivered, and wouldn't it be so easy that DoorDash can go anywhere I want and I don't have to worry about whether the restaurant had their own person to deliver. But when you think of CPG products, there was a lot of like, how do we solve for quick commerce? Except then we needed to align it with shopper mission. So it was like a really great example was like 2 years ago, I was on a trip with my family and we'd been driving all day, and my son started getting a really bad headache, and we were all hungry. And so we had to wait 30 minutes for food, like to get into the restaurant. We were there. My son was just miserable. And I realized I could just order from CVS. I could get kids pain reliever delivered to me while we were waiting for the food. And then it came like literally, I was like, hand me at front door. The person drove by, window goes down. If it looked like drugs, and I grab it, then I give it. I look like a hero. He felt better by the time we were done dinner, and but it was one of those like, distress missions or impulse missions where you suddenly realize like a snacking brand would really find a DoorDash or obviously a quick commerce with any retailer more relevant. So it's got to solve a problem that's actually, pain point, need state, want, desire, point of desire. And I don't mean that it can't already deliver on that, but it has to kind of hit some critical mass. So
Yeah, I think it's solving discovery.
yeah.
Yeah. I think the data is kind of pretty clear that people are super engaged with it for discovery, researching products and that kind of stuff.
Now, this is an interesting thing that came up today, which is conversion rate on sites. In the debate that I was part of, Rob Gonzalez brought up some information showing that the conversion rate from AI referred journeys was lower than expected. But I've also seen data from Adobe showing it's higher than a standard e-com journey. And so there's lots of mixed signals out there. And so this is why I think a lot of brand side people are confused about mixed signals, because it also seems like there's so much information that comes from sources, maybe you could include Adobe in this categorization, who have a vested interest in the outcome being true.
Right.
So that's where the skepticism has some credulity, I think, because there's a lot of people with a story to tell around this. And I think that that's why.
So I had an epiphany this week while I was
Oh.
preparing the WER, and I put it in the WER.
He has an
conversion-
epiphany sound. Let's hear
Yeah,
what
but
that is. Here comes epiphany. Oh, it's a bell.
Hold on, let me get this.
There we go.
Yes.
that's it.
All right, now it's not worthy. But I don't know. I don't think conversion's the right KPI
Okay.
because if you use that agent, you already have a high intent to purchase. Like all the numbers that Jassy cited, I don't think do we really know those purchases wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Rufus? Return rate is what I think the true KPI should be. Because if the AI is doing its job, it's doing a better job matching you to the product that you want, and you'll be less
Return it
likely to
less.
return.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see return rate of agentic driven, Rufus driven per purchases versus non-Rufus. I think that
And or repeat rate if it's a replenishable
repeat
item.
rate,
I can guarantee Amazon knows that because they can do an A/B test of an audience, and they can prove the causation and the correlation. So I guarantee, I don't think they'd be putting Rufus in as many places if they don't see something pretty magical.
Something's
Because they are so good at optimizing every pixel of that screen.
Okay, if
Yeah.
they're that good though, why do they still show me things I bought last week and suggest I buy it this
Ooh,
week?
That's a good one.
It's,
Because your wife's using your account.
oh, well, you have that too, right? You buy
Because you
something
do
and then it
actually
keeps showing
need
it to you the
6
next
toilet
week.
seats.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't get that.
In a multi-pack or variety
Yeah,
pack.
yeah. Unsubscribe and
Yes.
save.
Awesome.
I have the opposite problem where I can't never remember the name of the dog treat, and I'll put it in thinking obviously that'll be the first thing, and it never does it in the search engine. I always have to go to my order. I can never find stuff I've ordered through the search engine anymore because they want to show me. My ad load is I don't know if it's just me, but my ad load is 80% half the
And
time.
this is why people are moving to these systems, is because there's ads everywhere.
Right.
I'm overwhelmed by
It's those
choices.
darn retail media networks.
Those
And we don't even know how incremental it is.
Yeah. Those Bayesian
I'm,
time.
I'm taking Danny's mic. My only question to you guys is, when is the ads are coming?
To what?
To the LLMs, to the agents.
They're in
Yeah,
there.
they're in there.
They're in there already.
Chatty
but
Chat
they're-
already has it.
But they're coming in a big way. When is the money flow really going to hit? Because they got to pay for stuff.
Yep.
ChatGPT has part of their projections by 2028 or 29, 100 billion of ad revenue, which is
Bonkers.
Amazon is. They're like at a 70 run rate. 70
Yeah,
run rate.
70,
they've been at it
70 run
for
rate, yeah.
6 years, 5, 6,
Amazon ads. Oh no, like 10.
10 years.
Yeah. But here is the what's the word? The
Bonkers.
sneaky
Oh.
bonkers. The sneaky little thing that's going to be added to their ad revenue is actually the audience data that ChatGPT is now confirmed to be sort of distributing to advertising partners. This, I think, is the real opportunity for these LLMs, is not just stuffing product ads into the chat experience, which is disruptive. It is, all the stuff that Claude was talking about in those Super Bowl ads. It's creepy. It's disruptive potentially. What ChatGPT is now confirmed to do is use the data from our conversations to allow advertisers to activate against it on offsite properties, on TV, on social. And so that's the real killer move, because that is kind of in the background, right? It's not disrupting the experience. And brands want that super rich directional behavioral information about what you're researching, what your financial goals are, what your fitness plans are. And so they're able to get into the places where people are consuming other media. That's the
So you would use,
that's the
you put in
move.
your prompt, learn whatever you want to learn, and then it follows you. Like you'd go somewhere else and you get retargeting.
exactly. If I'm Tylenol, then I want to get in front of people who are asking about pain management.
And or other symptoms that would then infer you needed pain management or may have something in the future. And to your point, I mean, that there's, this Minority Report as an example, where it's like the ads popping out and talking to Tom Cruise is probably still a little more aggressive than what you're talking about, where it's just kind of subconsciously matching, like I'm just watching my connected TV or Netflix or something, and it's just automatically matching to me without me realizing it. And I'm just going yeah, I do want that, or, well, that is really relevant to me, as opposed to the ads.
I wonder if it not only prompts, it could do your memory. So let's say you're
Yeah.
doing meal planning was an example I used this morning, and it knows all about your family, that maybe your husband doesn't do dairy and kid has a gluten thing. Now, that would be very valuable as an advertiser to kind of say to this family, I'm going to show this combination of things, minus out the gluten-y products and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Where it's going to be more difficult is in the US here, we have pretty lax privacy rules compared to many other countries.
We call it capitalism.
We call it freedom.
Yeah.
But, in Europe, in Australia, it's much more locked down. So this model might work really well here, but less so in other markets.
But even if like in other markets or in the US, again, if one was to say, I took my ChatGPT account history and I gave permission to another, or, agent to agent, but I'd have to give permission almost for like the apps to talk to one another or whatever. It would transfer things that weren't shopping behaviors only to a Rufus, where then Rufus could relay agent to agent or just take that history in and go, some of the stuff that Chris was asking about, geeking out on X, Y, and Z had nothing to do directly with his shopping behavior, but it does imply something or infer something that we could serve back up because he has a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old boy. That he was asking about birthday ideas for them, but it wasn't transferring over to shopping yet. It was just ideas. So I don't know. I mean, some of that would solve some of the privacy issues because you'd have to give permission. So
as a consumer, there could be a give and take, like, you'll get a 20% off discount if you share your context packet.
Yeah. Almost just like with an email or a mobile number. I hope they give a better deal though, if I'm going to give all of my personal aura, away.
That's worth a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of blackmail material in there. I mean, like
Right,
positive.
It's got to be at least
like
25 cents.
Marvel things, Star Wars.
I saw a headline in passing. I didn't read the article, but that a woman broke up with her boyfriend because she read his ChatGPT history. Did you see that article?
Yeah, it was getting a little too intimate.
Yeah.
Or he was asking like,
back to e-commerce.
or he's like, is there a way to, have your girlfriend fall off of a cliff without getting caught? Could it be something like that too?
Oh,
that would be breakup material.
Retarget with a.
Mine are all like framework questions. Like if I was trying to organize this and I already have this, how might I? You can ask ChatGPT to roast you, and it's really funny actually because it's not just get it to create a picture of you, get it to roast you in a constructively funny way, like you're really having like an official, Comedy Central roast, and it's quite funny if you've given it enough fodder, right? So, and then you realize you're like, I am a nerd. Wow, but it's cool. You should try it. You don't even need an image. You can feel, but then give it say it's going to do I've done all of these just to try to feel better at the end.
This is fun for you.
It is. It's like if it was to speak at my funeral about how impactful I had been.
It's getting dark.
But
humor.
then it brings back a really positive message because you kind of want to know what would they say about you after you were gone. So
What would ChatGPT say about you?
I mean, it was very nice stuff. I mean, it already says I have great ideas, even just on quick little prompts. So I mean, it just had wonderful things to say. Apparently.
Have you seen the LLMs now want you to port your history over from other LLMs?
Yeah, it's clever.
They're desperate, but they've all started doing that now.
Yeah.
Where does first party data sit here? I mean, that used to be the holy grail. Is it still? Is now an LLM first party? I mean, where are we on that with ads, with shopping, with?
Yeah, I think ChatGPT will bring back the checkout. It'll be interesting to see if you agree, because to get that $100 billion number, they're going to need closed loop transaction data. They have a bunch of first party data, just generally like what people are, websites they're sending you to and that kind of stuff. But that's the real money part of Amazon, is being that closed loop data that someone actually made a purchase. So I think they're going to regret pausing that, and they're going to pick it up in a big way. That's my prediction.
I think if you could incentivize the retailers to share that transaction data in a clean room, I don't know how they would incentivize them exactly, but that's really the ultimate closed loop is someone began a conversation over here, then they checked out over there. So getting the retailers to agree to that, there's got to be something majorly in that for them. Maybe it is ultimately sort of a degradation over time of the quality of first party data that they have upper in the funnel, that they eventually see the upside and can't beat them, let's join them. And then the retailer still gets the transaction. They're still a retailer, but I've talked about this a lot, there is a threat to the offsite media networks that these retailers currently run, because they're seeing less of the behavioral signals from higher in the funnel, and that sort of degrades their data pool of first party data. So maybe there is eventually a scenario where they're like, you know what, we have the transaction data that's extremely valuable. If we're compensated well enough for it, then we will combine it with the LLM's upper funnel data.
Well, one interesting, this might just be semantics, but just because I had to break down like first party, second party, third party, and zero party data into some like very basic 101 terminologies. But arguably, isn't a lot of our AI behavior zero party data? Because we're actually giving away way more data. I mean, like they're collecting it as first party, but we're giving, just like if you use a skin advisor tool on a beauty website or whatnot, where you're giving a little more information about yourself for advice or for a discount, right? It's not
How
just
do you define zero party versus first party?
That's a good question. It's a very fine line, but this was where zero party was something that you're volunteering beyond just like the core behavior on a website. Like technically visiting the website, staying on it for 5 minutes, going to 20 pages. Like those are things that they're collecting as first. If I made a purchase, would be first party data, but then it does cross over a little bit. Whereas suddenly if I took like, I'm thinking of some of the beauty brands that had like the Skin Advisor or like the healthcare brands where you put in some of your health details and then it recommends like which vitamins or supplements you should take. That would start, you're giving away extra information. You're volunteering that information away for a benefit, right?
It's not just observed.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of agentic commerce / AI behavior, GPT assisted, behavior is zero party data, which is why it's arguably even more valuable. But that's just to add to that, just because that's another piece of the data pie.
Wingo ordered beers with his agent like 20 minutes ago, and it's like
My
5
agent's
seconds.
asleep.
Your agent. What's going on with your agent?
I don't
Wingo?
know. My
I mean, what are we
agent named
doing over
Adam
here?
is,
We could have
he's,
gotten that pain reliever
taking a
for my
nap.
son faster.
The other thing that Kiri, I love your satire. You're poking fun at attribution, which I lovingly call bullshit. So these guys can't even get this stuff straight today. How in the heck are they going to do this when we have all these other intermediaries around?
They'll have other jobs then.
They won't worry about it.
This is now.
It's all going to go away. Today there's citations, but those are going away, I think. And there'll be mentions and that kind of thing.
What do you make of the? And I know you've talked about this recently, Scott. Is that the dark traffic?
Mhm.
So people they're doing some research in an LLM and then maybe going to Google and Googling that brand, because I've noticed some of those links are missing now. Like I'm not being given a link from ChatGPT. I have to actually search for it. And then the other related thing here is when you use ChatGPT on the app or Gemini, there's no referral tag sent out. So, the theory is, and it has been proven through some third-party analysis, is that a lot of the traffic that retailers are getting, they're seeing it come through as direct, but it's actually coming from AI and they don't even know it.
Yeah, what we do is we load up their GA4 and we have a template that looks at this very specific traffic that is, there's no source, it's called direct, and it goes to your PDP. And then we go back in time and look at like January 24 as a baseline. And then we'll like draw it out, and then you can start to see it like really start to rise. And then, so to us, that indicates that everything is really starting to climb up there.
I don't know though if you could easily siphon off, split out direct until
Scott's agent finally showed up.
There's the agent. Yeah. Agents. Now we got 2 of them on the case.
Sorry.
This just in, our agents were busy closing a deal, so that is a valid use of their time.
No, but to your point, it was just I don't know how easy it would be to truly break out real direct behavior versus agent direct.
Direct people don't just like randomly go to a PDP.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
It depends on what. Yeah, if you can double click into the destination.
Right.
Well, I mean, when you're looking at total site, like I'm going high level, similar way.
Part of this template is like only to PD, no category pages, home pages,
Right.
just a PDP
Just a
page.
PDP. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the URLs are always like this long, so no human. Most people aren't bookmarking like a PDP, and they're not going to type in this thing.
I try to memorize those so that I can type them in, and go right to the page.
/shoes /min /11 /
Wouldn't the LLMs want that credit though?
Yeah, I don't understand why they're stripping it out. They're basically saying we want to not get credit here.
All right, here's a question. when I was doing the debate, I made the case that like this is all sort of dark search moving up the funnel, and what Andrew's counter was, and it's a pretty good counter, is but hasn't this always existed with Google search? Hasn't this always existed with you watch an ad on TV, then you go search for it? What's different about it this time?
Google search is highly attributed.
Mm-hmm.
TV is the same, sure.
Yeah.
But it goes to the homepage. It doesn't go to the PDP. That's what's different.
I think this time around, what's different to me is the retailer would have gotten some signals from Google about what was the impetus for this. There's a little bit of information about what created that search interest, and retailers and publishers aren't getting that anymore.
Yeah. In referral traffic from Google, you can typically look back up and see the search term.
Right.
Yeah. Both SEO and SEM. SEM, you 100% can because it's ringing
Yes.
the register. You can always see the search term.
Right.
You guys want me? I have another, just quick. And you're working on this, Scott, and everybody. But what I'm excited also, we're talking about the shopping and the consumer's behavior. But I'm actually really excited about, and my arm's in the way, I apologize.
It's just an embodied hand is all that people can see.
Behind the curtain. Product data, a lot of stuff in e-commerce is it's a mess. It has been a mess, and organizations are working hard, and we've come a long way in 25 years. It's still a mess. So where is AI? I'm more excited about the movement in taking automation and driving it forward and even blowing our minds as far as what it can do. There's a lot of operational, just easy layups to fix. I mean, that's all I hear from you guys. You deal with all these big brands. There's all this stuff they're not doing right even before AI. I mean, I'm saying that, by the way. That's me saying that.
I actually think this is a massive opportunity for the mid-market and small brands to leapfrog, because we heard it on stage on one of the panels. Very big difference in how big brands are approaching this, and a lot of them are approaching it from a position of defensiveness. We don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to fire people. We don't want to get, into legal hot water here. We're just shutting everything down. And you've got to jump through some major hurdles to get AI on board. Whereas the smaller brands, they're the ones who are like,
Less red tape.
Let's go for it. Let's try these new tools. Onboarding a new vendor at an enterprise brand takes 6 months. And so
you're actually completing the work without an SOW, a setup, or an invoice. And yet then another year later, you get paid. So
right.
if you've accepted their base terms.
Yeah. So I think this is a huge gift to the mid-market to jump ahead of these huge brands that have had more of the, financial assets in the past.
Well, and the hard part for the big brands is it's, and this is your space, but it's largely unsolvable because they constantly recreate the same issues. So let's take a portfolio of 10,000 items that were set up over the years by 50 different people, 50 different ways. Let's say they could go through and clean that once. But the same product might have a different UPC in 20 different retailers. So 20 versions of the same product. The worst one was I was looking for a monitor, and I was trying to find the model number for an LG. And the model number is unique by retailer. AI couldn't make any sense of it. Nothing. It was bringing up completely wrong information. And that I think that's like part of the underlying issue they're gonna have to solve for is, do they keep the retailer differentiation or do they have clean data?
Yeah, where these LLMs are good is messy data. And so if you could just build a map one time, if you could map all the LG SKUs to the retailer, it will vector. They're using a new kind of database technology called vector database, which is like more of a graph than a structured table kind of, old school databases are like in a giant Excel spreadsheet, rows and columns. And then now they can be this graph. If you could give it the graph one time, it will solve it in perpetuity, which is nice. So I think there's a way, they're the best path to the solution.
If the brands want it solved.
Yeah.
The reason that happens though is the retailers don't want anyone to price compare the TVs, so they make the brands give them a unique SKU.
Right. So they might not even want to solve it.
Yeah, and then what they do though is they differentiate the products, right? The smart TV that's Model X in Best Buy is different than the slightly, like more memory or a different remote.
Buttons are a different color.
Yeah.
It's like the Power of X in Lowe's and Home Depot. They're like always off by like 2 horsepower and an attachment, and it's like
Or it's Amazon doing its quarterly updates and they never give you the same number twice.
Yes, yeah, they love that.
Compare
Yeah.
anything.
Mhm.
They're the masters. How have they been able to stick with that for so long? And the same number never comes up twice. It's amazing.
The SEC had to like get close to suing them for them to disclose AWS. It was
Really?
like it was clear you're supposed to. There's materiality clause, and we all knew it had to be like 15 or 20%. And finally, someone at the SEC is like, "Wait a minute, this thing seems like it's pretty big." And they finally, that's why they drug them over the finish line to disclose that stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
It goes back to a Jeff Bezos thing. He was big on game theory, and if you have a winning hand, it doesn't do you any benefit to let other people know you have the winning hand.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
they didn't disclose their ad business revenue for a very long time.
It's other.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go around the horn. Danny, WER, what are you talking about? What's the big things? What's the big thing? And I'll go around to everybody and what they're working on.
I can't keep all of the Amazon's program names straight, but they announced in the last 24 hours that they're opening up their transportation and shipping and logistics network to anybody,
Wow.
not just retailers, but anyone. Do I want to ship at FedEx, UPS, or Amazon? It's going to be available to everybody.
Yeah, and they announced P&G as their first customer, which is like that's a pretty
Very
good one.
huge.
Yeah.
So then you consider that they also have opened up shipping for any retailer or brand, and they'll even use your branded boxes if they do fulfillment. And of course, they're offering advertising to any retailer who wants to use their ad network. So what I was talking about today was Amazon trying to be end-to-end for brands and retailers. And like, I don't know who would necessarily want them to do that unless the
Exactly.
cost savings
Yeah.
are that significant.
Right.
But there must be an audience for it, or else they wouldn't be putting all this development into it. It just sort of like clicked, like, wow, they could actually own the entire stack for a
They
retailer or
could,
brand.
to your point, like who's going to do that? I mean, P&G, that's a pretty strong signal.
Yeah. They're just a small.
But
Do
you
they
know,
sell
but
anything?
Amazon.
Way to
also-
have a P&G joke. Get a symbol ready.
Remember?
Give me a rim. Oh, that's. You know when you're ready. You know, it was good they got P&G because they got the Pampers, but it's a crappy business.
We'll fix it in
Do the
post.
gong.
We'll fix it in post.
We can make a Mulan reference with that
No,
gong.
actually, I have one
But
for that.
there's been lots of examples of this, of programs, and Amazon's really good about this. They launch something with extreme conviction. If it doesn't work out, just cut it
Fire
off.
phone.
Yes.
Fire phone
I'm
does
still,
How is
it's
it
coming
bringing
back.
back?
It's coming back.
That was 6 months. That was like
Yep.
the shortest phone ever.
But it's
I
gonna,
still have mine. Jason and I both have them.
it's going to be back. I know it will.
I got down a rabbit hole on that one a couple of weeks ago, and I was thinking about the devices that the delivery drivers use are not Amazon technology.
Mm.
So is this possibly also just creating an internal technology, but then wanting to commercialize it so they can make some revenue on it too? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
They love to in-house things, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately.
And Chris, what's first mover? What are your big trainings? What are you guys doing? You got the end caps. You got. I mean, what are you talking about over there? You and Oscar, you crazy kids.
Oh yeah, we are. No. Well, again, and we've talked about this a little bit. I like to say omni-channel and all our topics in between are kind of, it's the mathematics that you have to understand, and then AI is how to use the calculator, right? And it's a very simple reference, but there's still a lot of companies that don't really that don't really understand how to even do omni-channel, and they haven't empowered their teams to even understand how retail is working before AI, let alone post AI. And so we've got, like, on the spectrum, we've got like companies where there's just starting to teach the sales organization how e-com works. And you're like, it's 2026. Like you don't have, I don't want to say you don't have time, but you really don't have a lot of time to learn that part if that AI at the same time is coming in on top to disrupt in a number of ways, however far it goes. But we've got it, like, it is a spectrum, right? So there's companies that are still kind of learning the 101s of omni or digital shelf or retail media. And then thankfully there's a lot of leading organizations that are like, what's the next thing? Which honestly, I feel like goes back to like brilliant basics, but it's like, how do we make Catman, like category management, omni-channel, right? Where we're thinking about incremental growth strategies and designing all the levers, not just, do I have a complete digital shelf? We always, just the basics, but how do I make it compelling? How do I design for baskets or lapsed users, or really defining specific shopper audiences? How do I make my JDP actually omni, right? So it's easy to say, put omni in front of everything, but like, what does that really mean? And like, how do we, and actually the one last thing I'll say is most teams I realize don't actually ever get the chance to like practice basic skills. Like, so we assume a brand manager or a key account manager knows how to do everything, that they're even just supposed to be able to do their brick and mortar, but they don't even get a chance to really practice except unless their job throws that at them. So it's almost giving them like a sandbox to go like, let's practice doing that basic thing you normally are supposed to be able to do, let alone now add Omni in, now use AI to get an hour back from that process, right? Like, so we're honestly, we train from like macro to micro, inspire to inform to apply. And so it's kind of cool for us because we get to go from everything for like, how do I make this so simple that you go like, I should be doing this. And then my next question is, how do I do that? Like, good, I'm glad you asked, because now here's the 3 steps you take or the 4 questions you ask. And it's not that no one is dumb, but like obviously we is sample size of 1, we can only focus on 3 to 5 things, or we get cognitive overload. So it's like, it is about actually taking the time to train people so they can actually do this stuff. Which most of us don't need to worry about, but the rest, the masses don't know. Like, I really do feel like we're leaving people behind and getting on Noah's Ark and floating away. And I don't want to leave anybody behind, but I realize not everybody's going to get on. So
you can only take 2.
I know, of each. Yeah. So you'll have to become another animal if you want to get on the boat with us.
All
but
right.
that's
Boat's filling up.
the boat's
Boats.
filling up.
The boat is filling.
Mr. Wingo, Refi Buy's busy. You're busy. You are on it. You are hot off the presses. There's 17 announcements. I love your newsletter because
He's got a cloning machine.
I just don't sleep much. That's why I don't have beer. If I had a beer, I would just follow.
Which version of you do we have right now?
The original.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they all think they are. So
Oh,
So
it's common debate amongst the clones.
You're deep in predictions. You're you're a visionary. You've done it before. But what's most like front of mind to you? In the next couple months. What's super
So
exciting?
I'm going to Google I/O, and they announced all this stuff in UCP, and I suspect they're going to drop a big ton of a new checkout that's going to have multi-item loyalty and all the things they've rolled out in UCP. There's a little sequence there. So that'll be interesting. I think there'll be some surprises. We are seeing indications on the Google side that they're showing the ability to buy things in old Google Shopping, which would be pretty wild. So it's only in AI mode right now, but I think they're experimenting with it in traditional Google, which would be another very bullish sign if they're putting it on the Mac Daddy product.
Wow.
To that end, we're seeing similar reports from our friends. This is what's nice about having a network of people that report this to us now. Just today, we've seen 2 indications around Rufus. One of them is if you ask a certain prompt at the Amazon old search engine, it will automatically throw it over to Rufus. So it's almost like it's detecting it's a null search result and then sending it over to Rufus. That's new behavior. And my theory is if it is, I forget who asked the question. It was Danny. If it is converting better, why not get rid of the old search?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think they're going to start nibbling around the edges on that. And if it is certainly better and they can prove it by holiday, we may see like core Google shopping becomes more like the AI mode. We may see some really big changes in that. And then also people have seen Rufus where if it wasn't null search results, they're getting a Google-like AI overview from Rufus, which is, have you seen that too?
I saw somebody posted that.
It was Joe.
Joe.
It's by Joe. Yeah.
It's always Joe.
Yeah. Now he's cloned. Like, I don't know how he's got like 6 hours on this, which helps, but no.
But that to me is like Amazon trying to encroach on ChatGPT, Claude territory to be the conversational, the more
Right.
consumer side of LLM and AI.
Yeah.
So that you can, like there's always like, where does the shopping purchase journey start? And Amazon eventually overcame Google. And same here, like they want to reclaim that starting point. So they need to be an LLM beyond just retail.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't want just contact lenses. I want a whole lesson on how to take care of them.
Yeah. And then Scotty's favorite, Andy, you'd like to call him Andy.
No, I call him Andrew
Andrew.
because him and I are tight.
Yeah,
and
you and
so
Andrew.
Andrew's too formal. That's how he goes in the public. So Andrew and I, and
Okay.
BO, we're tight.
So he made the argument on this last call that as a vertical shopping solution, they're superior because they will always have better product information, and no one doubts that they're better at the supply chain side of it. But then he said it will always beat the horizontal. But then what he kind of casually glossed over in that is think of the amount of information ChatGPT learns about your health stuff.
Yes,
Like you're never going to
outside of
talk to
shopping.
Rufus
Yeah.
or Amazon about, they may pick up a little bit of it. Like if your buying trends trend towards pain management or gluten-free or whatnot, but they're not going to know your meal plan. They're not going to know your vacation plans. They're not going to see travel. They're not going to see what kind of car you're buying. Amazon, by definition, by being vertical, is going to see less information about your whole life. So it's an interesting thought experiment. Like, which of those wins over time? I don't know the answer. I'd love to hear what Kiri thinks.
Well, yeah, this is really interesting because I do agree with you in terms of like a complete picture of me as a consumer and as a person. The LLMs have the best idea of that. I still do see a good use case for a vertical agent in, let's say, I forget who I was talking with about this today, fashion. A fashion agent that understands what I already have in my wardrobe. You don't need another white blazer. You already have one. Like filling in the gaps. What should I wear here? What should I do? And so I guess it is potentially a scenario where Gemini gets that good that it can do that, but it's sort of a use case specific outcome that I'm looking for there.
Have you tried daydreaming some of those?
No, I haven't actually. I've tried. There's really, really good virtual try-on tools now with Stitch Fix and Zara. Like they're getting so good, and they'll render it on your body and see how you fit and everything. But I don't know. I largely agree with you in terms of having a complete picture of me and my interests and what I'm after and what I might need in the future, and even beyond consumer products, financial products and services, education.
See, I think AI is actually in different verticals is going to actually hit mass adoption faster than shopping. I think finance, I think travel,
Yes.
I think there's a lot of other industry in healthcare. Healthcare is they're booming.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're going to see more mass adoption, which could lead to, I use this here. Maybe I should go buy a sweater.
Right.
Now, one last thing, because I don't want to skip your take on any other topic, because we've gotten a good collection here, is Amazon Leo and the satellite low orbit internet access, which would become a portal and could potentially be a horizontal Amazon layer of not just almost like AOL or Amazon online, right? But we were saying like almost not that you have to sign in per se, but they would be they are your browser, they are your access point in some cases. And so would then you
Sounds
potentially
like
use
a
them?
Fire Phone scenario to
It could be.
me. Let's
No.
be honest.
But what if I'm
Is it
saying,
3D?
what if they were the portal through which you, and obviously they're collecting data through the portal, but then maybe their interface is what you engage first, and so thus you start using them. Maybe you load up ChatGPT as a history, but then you start using Rufus.
I don't think satellite's a good use case for that. Like,
I'm just
yeah.
But if you're getting,
I see where
access to
you're
Wi-Fi,
going
yeah,
to. Yeah, if you're the internet pipe, you see everything.
Great. So I'm just
At the end of the day. Yeah. We didn't get Kiri's take.
Yeah, I
know,
wanna see
Kiri,
Kiri's
what's on your mind
All right,
other than
I'll tell you my take, but can you promise me that you'll share your take, Scotty?
sure.
It's gonna be a Scotty-O rant.
Let's wrap with a rant.
Kiri, what's
He's on
what's
the
on your
spot.
mind? What are you writing about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
All right, my 17 clones are writing about how AI interrupts the economics of retail media. So I've talked a little bit about it. Sponsored product ads, the bulk of the retail media ecosystem today. If we are spending less time on a retailer.com and navigating the surfaces and clicking around, looking at stuff, that is less real estate that a retailer can sell on-site sponsored product ads on. And Amazon is particularly at risk here because you think about a web page of search results, you can put 40 ads on that. A mobile page, you can put 24 ads on that. I do actually have these stats somewhere, is pretty close to the truth. But with a Rufus chat,
You know what show you're on. That's fine.
how many?
fact check.
No, yeah, right.
We don't get caught up in facts.
She's really shaken up by these Bayesian people.
Yeah,
I
really.
know,
They got her on
I know,
edge.
I know.
The Bayesian people are
have
gonna
to
come
be
for you.
careful What I say. I'm gonna
They could be
fact check
lurking
me.
back here.
But with Rufus, really what we're seeing, at least so far, is 2 ads in the suggested products. So that could end up, maybe there is a scenario where the CPCs are so high in a Rufus ad that they counter some of that.
Offset it.
I find that hard to imagine. So I don't know, like and Amazon, I think, they're leaning into the disruption. They're disrupting themselves because they could very much like hold on to this very profitable revenue stream of ads and just say, look, let's just keep going with
two
this.
ads is a lot less than the current 20 that you see. So
exactly. So they'd have to make up a heck of a lot in CPCs to get to break even.
By
on
my
that.
math, they'd have to generate 10 times revenue each. Just off. That's how fast I am. That's not Bayesian math, by the way.
Now, this is a silly question, and you
Hold
can.
on. I went to Arizona State. I don't know what Bayesian is.
Yeah, I'm from Virginia, and we're from a slower group, so I don't know.
I don't
It's a
have time to-
statistical distribution thing.
We don't
that I
have
don't
Bayesian
understand.
in Australia. I'll just say
Yeah,
that.
come on, man. You guys are killing me.
This might be a silly question, but I'm just throwing this out. It doesn't replace all of the ads that you would have had before, but would there be a scenario where, based on the history of signals that are already in place and certain brands surfacing to the top, that you would pay to show up to the agent just to be considered to break through its logic and its history, right? Because there's some level of the flywheel's been spinning in certain brands in traditional SEO on an Amazon have worked their way to the top. So paid search was to help you usurp the throne and be considered relevantly up at the top. Would there be a place where you might be paying, I don't know if it's the same CPCs.
This is the seesaw of trust, though, because if I know, and this is why people are turning to LLMs, is because I trust what it tells me, because the world's information at this point in time tells me about this. If I understand as a consumer that the results are being gamed somehow and like someone is paying to be in there, then I lose trust in that whole paradigm.
No,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
Well, no, agreed. No, now, in a way, though, it's like the quality scores or the relevance scores that go into paid search, where, yes, you see a lot of paid search, but I use Nike. Like, if I typed in toilet paper, I'm not going to see Nike tennis shoes show up because they're not relevant, and they don't want to show up for those.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But there would be some level of trust that, like, hey, these are best sellers. These are well reviewed. So
We're starting to see some signal there because Meta doesn't really have they're not a data center business, but they're building all these LLMs and using them internally, and it's making their ad product get better. So they're seeing the ad load go down, the conversion go way up on what they have, and then you got to imagine the consumer's happier because they're more relevant ads.
Right.
So there was this we kind of squeezed or squozen, I don't know the word there.
Squozen
We had
sounds.
optimized using all of the available technology we had, and now these LLMs have given us this new bump up. It's almost like a step function in these ad networks. And I wonder if, to your point, if we apply that to these nascent ones, if that's going to make it feel a lot better. And that's where you can have the two ads, you can still have trust, but they're just like
They're so
highly
relevant.
relevant in a minority report, not creepy way.
Right.
That it all comes out in the wash.
But I agree with you. I don't mean like they have to be very carefully managed so that we didn't immediately lose trust in the unbiased recommendations. But I wonder if there isn't but is there a world where it's like you interface you agent are already looking at one history, but we just wanted to make sure you had a chance to consider this new emergent thing that wouldn't have already had a history.
I think there'll be some agent to agent stuff. I think that's going to be kind of past autonomy. So we got like that's like a phase 2. We got to get through phase 1 first.
Kiri, is Amazon retail media now? I mean, when you started this journey of the Retail Media Breakfast Club, and people talk about retail, I'm like, it's Amazon. I mean, let's just cut the crap. I mean, it's Amazon. They're driving their 80%, 90%. Have we had more piece of the pie taken from somebody else yet?
Yeah, so I want to do there was one of my best performing pieces last year was Retail Media is Mid, and it was a back and forth with your co-host on the Jason and Scott show. And it was, Jason made some really good points, which are all true, which is that Amazon has the bulk of retail media ad spend. The bulk of retail media ad spend is on-site, sponsored product ads and banner ads and things like that. That is true. Best Buy has a $900 million ad business as of today, and that's not chump change, right? That is
So Best Buy, it's important because it's all margin.
Exactly.
Like it can be, it's like 1/60th, 1/70th of Amazon, but what's more relevant to Best Buy is like 900 million fall out of the sky onto the bottom line. So that's nice.
Exactly. It's high margin. It offsets the difficult business of being a retailer. And so even though the 200 odd media networks operating globally comprise a much smaller percentage, it's still a meaningful business for them. And it's still, I would say, like, no one says that they love seeing ads around, right? But irrelevant ads are annoying, but relevant ads can, I know it's going to sound like major cope, but they can help with the shopping experience because the ad engines actually have a lot more credibility in some ways when you're looking for something than the organic system. The organic system rewards top sellers.
Right.
It rewards historical top sellers, and the ad system can actually surface
Something new.
something relevant, something based on your history. The advertiser has a real incentive to get in front of the relevant audience. So look, I'm not saying all ads are wonderful and we love them and we love the whole experience, but they can actually be part of a better experience for a retailer. So I don't think we should just give up on on advertising if it doesn't come from Amazon. It's still a meaningful business. It is still much smaller, but
If Amazon's 60 to 7, you had a number, I can't remember it. How big is the
Amazon's
rest?
like 67. It did 67 last year. They're on track to do around 79 maybe. I mean,
yeah.
they're growing at 22, 24% a quarter. So the road to 100 billion is near. Is what I'm tracking.
So are we saying, if I summarize it like
Are you gonna
ChatGPT, would the
AI
ads
summarize
are
right now?
dead? Just leave it on that.
No, there was some question. I'm like, my money's on ads. We've been
Yeah,
advertising as a society for hundreds and actually thousands of years. So my money's on the ads.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ads are here to stay.
Ads are
sadly.
here to say.
Oh, that's different than my summary about it being dead.
That's okay.
It's okay. We'll debate it later.
To all of your points, to me, it's a real estate game. The phones run everything, right? The traffic, everything else. On Amazon, it's
Phones.
conversion. Every platform. It's a phone. But we're running out of real estate. So you either got to pay to get on the phone, right?
Tattoos are next.
Is this a rant? Are you building up?
It's just like.
Do you have a flip phone, Scotty?
I'm going to go back to a flip phone, actually. I kind of want to go back to Mad Men life as far as just, no
I had a
computer.
holster for
Yeah,
mine.
I just want to go to lunch, get absolutely just hammered.
I was always ready.
You know what?
Good
Just
job, bro.
pontificate with my cigarette and my glass of scotch and just wander the world. That's what I want. But I just think it's a real estate game because whether it's LLMs, whether it's I don't care who it is, and the ads have to be part of it because that's the money. You got to show me the money.
Yep.
The answers to all your questions is money. And so it's a real estate game. Who's going to win on the phone? And I can't, the LLM, I love chit chatty. I mean, I was chit chatty, but now I'm Claudette, Claudia. I don't know.
Claude's logo's on that painting there. You may want to
Exactly.
turn the camera around so people can see. Did you
Yeah.
guys see that when you saw that
Yeah.
painting? Okay.
I might disconnect.
Subliminal
something, but
message.
let's
Do you see it?
Take his.
Kiri, do you see it?
Go
Yeah.
check
No.
his post. Go check his post.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just think it all comes down to the phone. Whoever can buy your attention on the phone. I think Amazon, unfortunately, has just built such a moat. They're doing so much. They're going to drive this. Danny and I go back on text all the time. Like, is Rufus now going to be a horizontal agent? Is that the agent that's going to go out with buy for me and all this other stuff? Which, by the way, are they asking it in the brands when they're going and searching these websites? I mean, what are we doing here? It's like GS1, the UPC. Can anybody call them the fact that they have a freaking monopoly and they're a goddamn mafia? I mean, that's my position on them. We should have some
You
competition.
said the two M words together.
Yeah, we should
Whoa.
have competition on this. So I want competition for Amazon, but it's just hard to see the light. Walmart's doing some great things.
Yeah.
Now Amazon's, reared their grocery. They are the new CVS as far as I'm concerned.
They're the largest grocer as of this quarter.
Yeah.
Jason enlightened me on that one.
Exactly. So I don't know who's going to get in the way. I don't know if I have a rant or anything, but to me, it's about the phone. It's about the real estate. I don't care. It's going to take money and time, but all these machines are built on conversion. I'm just hoping they'll still need some type of translator to talk to the machines, because that's what I've been doing. And I want retail experience back. I want AI to bring us personalization that actually freaking matters, not some stupid email or some text saying you bought this, you could buy this. I want, I walk into a store, I want to emulate the physical retail, the merchandising. That's what I want.
I hate to be the one to tell this to you, but all the retailers, their next vision of the ad surface is the store.
And that I love that.
Yeah.
Bring that. I'm
Okay.
good with that.
All right.
I love that. I saw your video with so and so, whoever you're walking around with, going to stores.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the big the convenience store, Buc-ee's?
Mhm.
I mean, give me 40 feet of beef jerky. I'm in. I'm in on that.
Don't you think people should be the ultimate ad?
Well, people is, and thanks
That's
for
the next stage.
thanks for wrapping this up. Because why? Because people matter. I would like to cheer. I can't.
Yeah.
Danny, thanks for sending that mistaken
Oh my
LinkedIn
God.
message.
Wait, okay,
Yeah,
we
that
need
was
the
genius.
backstory on
Hidden
that
genius.
for the pod listeners.
He was actually looking for a different group to do a podcast.
So this is
But we ended up
He's
being
like,
the one.
oops, this is awkward.
Yeah, together.
I don't want to be on a podcast with you people.
this is arguably the
We were in his
best-
exclusion list.
this
And
is-
then
that's right. This is arguably the best outcome to a complete and total screw up. I was humiliated that day walking. I cannot believe I did this. I don't remember what it was.
we just
It
thought
was-
you were a thought leader.
Let's pull it up.
It was. I was. I put up a post. It was doing crappy. I was looking for some help, and my intent was to message each of you, and be like, "Hey, I'd love it if you could, share it." And I thought, because LinkedIn does have a function somewhere where you can
Mhm.
message a bunch of people at once, and it goes to
Separately.
each person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do the select.
I did not intend to create a group chat.
So that's
with
what my
all the
happy
people
birthday message
that I
was.
admire.
I just teased you.
But that was the best outcome of a terrible professional error
No,
that
no.
I've ever made. But this
That
is a
was
great
like
outcome.
6 months ago.
I was, and
Here
here
we
we
are.
are.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that Jeff Cohen and I'm looking at it now, and Todd Hasselfeld, he was they aren't here.
Should dial him in.
I should have actually I do have that capability, but
Now you tell us.
well, that's
Let's-
over my.
So let's
start
start
over.
over again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
over
Let's
one more time.
get another beer.
Anyway,
And
it's
another Diet
I
Corona.
can't believe all of you. I've been watching, listening. I learned so much from you guys. I cannot thank you guys enough for coming.
Thanks for bringing us
Thank you.
together.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
And this has been another episode of
Always off brand. Remember, people matter.
People are the ads.
And bye.
Hey there, this is Haley from Quickfire, and they want me to read this so you know what this podcast is part of and how to find out more if you want. Always Off Brand is a production of Quickfire LLC and a part of the Learn and Laugh series on the Quickfire Podcast Network. For more information, go to quickfirenow.com. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.
a beer request.
Oh, no. Are you going to get one?
I have people. What do you want?
Um,
Fosters. I don't think they have Fosters. It's more pedestrian.
Corona.
Yeah.
Can they get a Diet Coke?
It's not a beer, but yes, you can have. You want? I haven't put my mouth on that. If you want a slurp of that.
No, it's all right.
This is gonna be fun.
I did
And I'm
backwash
recording
it.
right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My sons are big on backwash.
Danny, what you want?
I'll join on the Corona.
Yes.
Scotty O?
Sure, Corona's fine.